Yo, what's up guys, but I'm Fire here back from the video, and today we're going to be bringing you guys another defense in Madden 22, another coverage defense. Definitely one I like to pair with one of the better blitzes in the game, and that is going to be the $326 blitz. The play we're going to run today is going to be kind of the same play without the blitzes, and I'm going to run the cover to drop. You don't see rather, but I'll move my camera so you can see cover 2 drop on the left-hand side there. That's the play that we're going to run. Really good bluff blitz, really good coverage. We'll go over a variety of adjustments for you guys and show you how to disguise it as the blitz, but actually be running the coverage, of course. So getting into the personnel adjustments, just basic stuff. Get your safeties at linebacker. Of course, your slot corners might be a little bit weaker, knowing that those are going to be the guys you blitz a lot when you're running this scheme. But get some decent guys. It's Ultimate Team. You should have some good corners regardless. So I'm assuming you guys are fine in that area. But I'm in the Panthers playbook. This is in a couple of other playbooks as well. We're just in Panthers. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Now, the first thing that we're going to do in coverage is going to be to disguise this as an actual blitz. So how do we do that? Now, the first thing I like to do is to go ahead and base align. So we're initially just going to baseline the defense. Baseline. Again, it's not really going to do much for the play, but it's something that you're going to do in the blitz and that you just generally would want to do for this play. So you're going to baseline. Next thing I like to do is you're going to be moving these corners down into blitzing position for this dollar blitz, which is usually the DB fire 2 press. Move them right about there, and that's going to give him the look. Again, offensively, when I'm looking at this, it's going to be the exact same look as is the blitz. So he's not going to know, of course, the difference, unless he can somehow see your play art, which I don't expect him to be able to do. Now, taking a look at our player, we got 2 soft squats, similar to DB Fire 2 press. Of course, it's a cover 2 shell, so those safeties are in the same area. Now, we have 2 vert hooks, we have a mid read, and we have this 3 receiver hook. Now, we're going to leave this zone alone. This is going to be what we call our special zone for this play. 3 receiver hooks. You guys, if you've watched some of my defensive videos with these zones, you know how high I am on these zones, how much I love them. So we are going to leave that alone. For this first play, we'll just run a little setup kind of like this, where we'll just man up both players, and we'll use this mid-read. So this is going to be the first setup. Again, we have a lot of different varieties of this play, so stay tuned for all of them. But this is going to be the first way we run the play. You're going to use your joiner, of course. Now, to also disguise the blitz, you kind of want to stand here when the ball is snapped. You can kind of hover over here, which isn't going to necessarily do anything, but you see the coverage pretty dang locked down against this stock play, and we do end up getting the pressure. Now for this play, of course, the weakness is going to be the pressure. You're not blitzing, but it shouldn't necessarily be that big of an issue. Again, you're switching between these. You're not going to sit here, run this coverage play 20 times in a row. You're going to be mixing in the blitz a lot. So he's going to be pressured in the game. You're not just going to sit here, run this, and give him 30 seconds to throw the ball, if that makes any sense. So again, you're going to base a line. For this first setup, I like to just man up these guys. Now, again, it is important that you move these. I know some people are wondering, if I'm playing coverage, if these guys are manned up, why am I just moving them into blitzing position? It's all for the looks. It's all for the disguise, but it does have an effect. If he didn't see you move those, he would immediately know that you're not blitzing, and then in turn, maybe he sends his running back out on a route instead of blocking them. So can definitely be good. Again, this first setup, we're just going to use our him. 2 guys manned up. I will try and audible to a bunch as well, just to show what it could look like. But again, we're getting pretty good pressure, rushing 3 against 5. So it is pretty solid there. Let's audible to a different look if there's a bunch in this playbook. We do have a bunch, so good thing about this is it's a symmetrical formation, so no issues there. We are going to base a line. Once again, we're going to move these boys down a little bit. But if I were defending against a bunch, what I'm going to do is man up the tight end. I'm going to man up the running back, and we are good to go. Now, one thing, if you notice, you're running the blitz, and if you don't know what blitz I'm talking about, it is the DB Fire 2 press. I have posted on my channel. I could actually post another video if you guys want to see that. But if you notice he's struggling against the blitz, he's starting to block his running back. Are we going to really man up this running back? Probably not. That's when with this guy you could put him in a vert hook, you could bluff blitz him, you could do a couple of different things. That could also allow you to put joiner in a mid read, and then you'd actually user this player. So if he blocks his running back, then you can actually go with something like this, and just overall can definitely be very helpful to you. But if he is sending his running back out on a route, which could be something expected, then the man coverage will do a pretty good job at that. Not perfect, but definitely some solidness right there. Now, also, I'm leaving these soft squats at default. I like the soft squats. You could set the flats to whatever zone drop depths that you like. That should be known, though. So we'll show the setup one more time, then we'll hop into some other stuff. Snap the ball here. Again, you see the running back out on a little bit of a route, but we have our soft squat there. We just use your kind of those deeper plays. The wheel route on the right should be able to be clicked on and made a play on. So some other things you could do, basic stuff. We could go ahead, put this player in a deep zone, and then we could just use her one of these vert hooks. So this would be a very simple setup. Just use her one of these. We can kind of lurk down, lurk over, then we could lurk up and defend A. I would probably recommend this. Now, if I am using a vert hook, I'm going to make sure that I am using the player that is on the wide side of the field. So in this case, we're in the middle, but if we were to respot the ball, I would want to use the guy on the left because there's the most space, which means he's more likely to have a deep over or cross a route to that side. So again, that setup's just to put X in a middle third, and that's pretty much it. You go ahead and snap the ball, and then I can kind of lurk down on RB. Once the soft squat comes down to defend it, I can go back to A, make a play on that. So I feel like it gives you the most freedom there, and might be, honestly, if you want to cover the most ground, one of the better spots to actually keep your user versus the middle of the field. Some other things you can go ahead and do, piggybacking off this setup, is if we want, we can man up one player. This would be good for the bunch situation where we audible to that gun bunch formation, and let's say they're blocking the running back. Now I can just man up the tight end. We are able to put a middle third now, and now I can actually use this vert hook over here. So again, we still want to, with every single play, I might not do it every play, but you do want to give him this blitzing look every play. But I could run something like this now and be able to lurk up on RB. Daniel Jones throws it right at me, and Ashton Davis right there for the interception. So definitely a good setup with those, and really you can just rotate with these. I'm giving you a multitude of options because it's going to depend on how your opponent is playing, of course. Opponents will do different things, so if they're doing a certain thing, they're blocking their tight end, they're sending the running back on a route, you can kind of flip it. Maybe you just use her on the right side in that situation. So you can just kind of filter through these depending on the opponent's play style. Some other things you can do. We'll keep this middle third. We can actually double Mabel, so we can go with a curl flat or we can go with a hard flat. If I were doing this, I could set my curl flats to 5 yards or 20 yards if I want them to play deep. We could do really whatever we wanted. So for this, we'll set them on a curl flat because we know against this particular play that I'm running that the soft squat ends up biting on the flat. So we'll run something like this. Then with my user, boom, work over on B, and then you see the curl flat over there to defend the tight end crossing route. Beautiful coverage right there. And again, I would normally set the curl flat to that wide side of the field. I will show another setup later where we actually double Mabel both sides, but take a look over here. We have our curl flat that's initially going to take away Saquon Barkley once the soft squat is going to move down, which the soft squat's actually staying up a lot longer than it would to defend that route. Then our curl flat's going to kind of move up a little bit later in the play once the soft squat is completely down in that area. And then you see actually later it bounces back up. So that's why I like the soft squats. They cover a ton of ground, especially when you combine them with the different zone in the area. They can really put in a lot of work. So once again, here's a look at this setup. And again, move those corners into position, which is not something that we're doing now. But you also notice how the soft squat, there's nobody on that right side. So our corner is going to actually follow the in route because of that. So very, very good zones, very helpful zones. And they really can be like another user. You also combine having soft squats on the field with a 3 receiver hook. You see how the 3 receiver hook's pretty much just defending whatever I'm not able to get to. There's usually 2 routes open. The 3 route hook takes away 1, and then it gives me a clear assignment with my user. Another adjustment you could go to, another setup rather that you could go to would be this one where you curl flat both sides of the field, double Mabel. And this would be if you're going against someone who's throwing like heavy corner routes. I don't know if I have a play like that. Something like this potentially. We'll just put Ingram, I guess. Let's audible back. But maybe something like this. This could be a pretty good setup as. Now, for this one, we could use the 3 rec hook, which is not something I typically like to do, but if if I need to, I can definitely do that. Where I'm using Marcus May, that's going to take him away, but it could definitely be something that is, pretty helpful. Or we could leave the middle of the field open, which is probably not something I'm going to do against 5 wide, and keep our 3 receiver hook. So now we have our 3 receiver hook. It's going to take away that post route, or not, but it's going to just work around, bounce around different things. And again, if I run this setup, I'm probably setting my curl flats to a deeper zone depth. So again, even the way that they're playing practice mode might not be accurate because we don't have zone drops in practice mode somehow still. But it might not be accurate, but in game you set them to 15, 20 yards. They're going to defend those corner routes pretty dang easily. The last thing you could do is I'm just going to show a combination of different things. So maybe we want to go with something like this. You curl flat one side. Like I mentioned, we curl flatten over here. Then maybe I want to man up the tight end. We'll man up the tight end and then just do something like this. So now we use this player in the deep. So, but you can really just combine with all these adjustments. Throw it. Got an easy click on interception there with Carter, who is actually a 60 overall. So you could go with like something like that. If you didn't want to do that, let's say you want your middle third, maybe we just go with the double middle user over here, keep the middle third, which is kind of something we already showed. Or we just use the 3-rec hook, which is you man up one player, curl flat one side, we user him, we get the deep help. And then, obviously, our assignment's going to be clear. In this situation against this play, it's going to be that little spot route. But that's pretty much going to do for the video. If you enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out of here.